A very good morning, my dear kids. Happy to see you all safe with your family. This is a science class, and we are going to move into a new lesson, Matter Around Us. So, through this lesson, you will develop an understanding on the matter or the particle nature of matter. Sort the objects on the basis of certain properties. Differentiate what is solid, liquid, and gases based on the arrangement of their particles. Differentiate between pure substance from mixtures. Identify the needs for separation of mixtures. Suggest suitable method for separating given samples of mixtures. So, through this lesson, you will get a detailed knowledge about the nature of matter. So, anything which occupies space and has mass is called matter. So, matter is everywhere around us. The air we breathe, water we drink, material we use are made up of matter. So, matter is defined as anything that occupies space and has mass. Matter is found in three major states. So, there are three main states in which matter occurs. So, one is the solid state, second one is the liquid state, and finally the gaseous state, solid, liquid, and gas. Do you know what is matter made up of? A very big question mark. So, matter is made up of atoms. Atoms are the smallest particle of matter. So, matter is made up of atom, and these atoms are very smallest particles. They cannot be seen through our naked eyes. So we can see them only through a standard microscope. A standard sheet of paper is about millions of atoms thick. So when we take a very thin sheet of paper, and that sheet of paper is made up of millions of atoms. Science has come up with a technology to identify structure of atoms by using atomic resolution microscope, ARM. So through this microscope we can see the structure of the atom, and we can also use tunneling electron microscope, TEM, which uses electricity to map atom. So these are the two main microscopes which help us to see the atom and also the constituent particles. There is more about atom in the later classes, but first let us learn about the three states of matter. So we have defined what is matter, and matter is made up of these atoms. So these atoms are the smallest particles, and we cannot see them through our naked eyes. We can only see them through a standard microscope. And in higher classes you will learn in detail about these atom and their structure, but in this lesson we are going to learn the physical nature of matter and also the three main states of matter. Physical nature of matter. Matter occupies space and has mass. What is its nature? Many philosophers pondered over this question and came out with a lot of ideas. It is known that Indian philosopher Canada and Greek philosopher Democritus had their ideas similar. The Indian philosopher called it as Paramanu, and the Greek philosopher called it as atomus. Imagine when a piece of thread is cut with knife at one point, it would be just a small piece that it cannot be further cut by a knife. That small piece may contain millions of molecules, and these molecules are made up of atoms. Matter is made up of such smallest particles called atoms. These atoms are extremely small that you cannot see through your naked eyes, and you need powerful microscope to see the atom. So this is the atom structure, and when a group of atom is together, it is called as molecule, and finally these molecules form a structure which is called as matter. Characteristics of the particles of matter. Particles of matter has a lot of space in between them. In different forms of matter, these space will be different. Let us add a spoonful of sugar to a glass of water. Stir it well. Sugar dissolves completely. Where does it go? Will the glass of water be sweet now? Water particles have space between them, and sugar particles are now occupied those spaces. So this is what happens. So when you take a glass of water and a spoon of sugar and mix the sugar with the water, it dissolves. So the sugar disappears. Where does the sugar disappears? So it disappears and occupies the space between the water molecules. Particles of matter attract each other. It is the force of attraction which keeps the particles together. This attractive force will be different for different forms of matter. So, there are two different forces between the particles. It can be attractive force or repulsive force. So in the case of water and sugar, the sugar occupies the space in the water, and here force of attraction takes place. So this can differ with different forms of matter. Matter can be grouped into solids, liquids and gases based on their characteristics. Now let us see in detail about the mass, shape and the volume of solids, liquids and gases. Let us first take any solid such as maybe a stone. Do you think a container is needed to know the shape of a stone? So do you need a container to find the shape of a stone? Yes or no? Definitely no. If you move the stone from the ground to a table or place it on the shelf, does its shape changes? Yes or no? Definitely no. A solid does not need a container. It stays as it is because its particles are tightly packed and has a definite shape. If you take the stone from the ground and place it on the table or shelf, its shape or volume does not change. For example, pencil and book are used for studying. The bucket and the comb are made up of plastic, while the table is made up of wood. The scrub brush and broom are rough, but the toy bear is soft. Light can pass through the glass of water and the spectacles, but not through the apple or iron box. The cow and the birds are the living things, while the rest are not. Water in the glass is liquid, but air in the balloon is gas, and the rest are solid. The feather and the paper cup can float, but not the apple or the piece of stone. The rubber band can stretch, but not the comb. They have different properties. They are matter. So, from the above given example itself, you would understand that everything around us are matter and they have different properties. So, to say it in a simple manner, in your class there are 15 boys, but everyone are boys, but you are different from the person next to you. So, your friend is different from you and you are different from him. So he may be good in drawing, in good in art, you may be good in sports, so you all have different characteristics. Same thing, the matter around us, everything is called as matter, but they have different properties and they exist in three different states: so solids, liquids and gases. So I will give you all an activity. Try to fill the following table. So look at these pictures and try to categorize them according to a particular property. Maybe things that float, things that sink, things made up of plastic, things made up of wood, which are lightweighted, which are heavy. Try to characterize them and complete this activity and kindly post the picture in the group. Thank you.